So that simultaneously I am feeling the grief of leaving beautiful and magical Costa Rica, and then feeling this like very rapid shift into the world where urgency will try to impose itself, where city energy and the hustle and the bustle, kinds of energies that I've had difficulty having boundaries around in my life, now I'm throwing myself once more into that energy. But at the same time, I began this whole fasting journey in Guatemala, and then I followed it to Costa Rica. And when I was in San Francisco, feeling energetically, intuitively into like, okay, what's going to happen in Guatemala? What's going to happen in Costa Rica? When I felt into Guatemala, and my dreams also foretold this, I foresaw and forefelt a deep wound of poverty. And I felt that a lot of hungry ghosts would target me. Like this, I had a dream that I would take a boat into a lake and the boat would start sinking and all these ghosts that are in the lake would try to drag me down. And quite frankly, going to Guatemala felt a little bit like that, including ghosts of the New Age taking over certain cities. My early Fruit Fast videos talk about these things. When I was in San Francisco and feeling into Costa Rica, I felt this flame of initiation. I felt myself putting on my mystical cloak and going deep inward and doing my spiritual work. I felt myself confronting my shadows, but refining my soul and my light from this confrontation. I felt myself sitting around the fire of my spirit, which is the fire of my solar plexus, the fire of the Father and the Son, and all of that multiplicitous meaning that those words contain. And that's essentially what happened. And I've experienced profound initiation and transformation and becoming here in Costa Rica. And now I find myself feeling into San Diego, mystically foreseeing and forefeeling the future, intuitively what is going to happen there. And I feel myself shining. I feel myself emanating the solar luminosity which I am. I feel myself simply showing up and saying, I am. I am, and these are my boundaries, and this is my light. All shadows, all hell realms be dispelled and dissolved, for I have come to shine and to heal and to emanate the healing which I've already done. I have come to reclaim fragments of my soul from this city concrete and simply shine. I feel myself abounding. I feel myself offering my poetic gifts through my typewriter in a way that feels divinely aligned and in a way that conjures all kinds of magic, divinely aligned and healing. And it's like one of those leaps into the mystery where I can already feel my wings carrying me. And I feel my angelic self, my butterfly self, coming alive. Now, at the same time, in this birthing, rebirthing, resurrection of my essence, reclamation of my soul sovereignty, amplification of my luminosity, there is also in the feeling, in the intuition, in the feeling into what's going to happen in San Diego, I'm also witnessing right now like little fears. Perhaps little emanations of very big fears presenting themselves and like trying to convince me that these intuitions that I have, they could be wrong, they could be misguided, that actually like I'm going to go witness those hells again. And since that's scary, there's the fear of like I'm gonna get stuck in them. I'm gonna get caught up in them. I'm gonna be a victim to them. And those little fears show up, and they have little voices, and they have little feelings, and then I'm like, ah, and then little suspicions. But they show up because they're being shed. The unfurling of my wings out of my butterfly cocoon is literally those fears breaking free. Caterpillars themselves are likely afraid when they're in the darkness of the cocoon, unless they're just dreaming peaceful dreams. But on the other side of their fears, they become butterflies, and then they flutter along from Brazil to Hawaii to North America and just travel thousands of miles. I don't know if those are the places that they go, but you get what I'm saying. I do believe they go from Mexico to Santa Cruz, which is essentially what I'm doing, Central America to California. So I'm a butterfly. These metaphorical emanations of my breath are also metaphysical, are also the meta-narrative of my being. They are me writing the story of my hero's journey. And I allow myself to embody them. When I speak of butterfly wings, I'm not merely speaking metaphorically. I have wings. They are ethereal, and they have ripples that alter reality. And the more I shed my fears and allow the wings to unfurl, the more pure those ripples are. And the more freely I choose to fly. Sweet birds. Yeah. There are also parts of me that feel that since I'm going to be entering into the city and entering into a more consistent work schedule and this and that, oh, I'm not going to have time to confront my pain. I'm not going to have time to do the inner work of healing my wounds. I'm not going to have as much time to make YouTube videos that are as meaningful. I'm not going to have time to this. I'm not going to have time to that. And I'm realizing like these little lies that I'm telling myself. When the reality is, it's just another opportunity for refinement. It's a revisitation of realms where I have lacked proper boundaries, now in a time when I am so much more conscious of my ability to choose to create boundaries for myself and how to go about that, and what kinds of medicinal swords and wands and cups and pentacles I carry within my magician's tote, so to speak, to alchemize every perceived victimization and victimhood into an opportunity for growth and healing. Every confrontation of hell into an alchemical reorientation of reality towards heaven. I've been in need of some Saturnian timekeeping to create a schedule for myself, to cultivate habitual habitual rituals of intuitive creation, to create rituals that happen at the same time every day, so that my creative and intuitive essence can flow into a particular medium, such as writing, such as YouTube videos, such as this, such as that. Writing and YouTube videos are the main ones, but there are others. And the fact that I will have some kind of schedule with my typewriter work, created by my own self, I will say, because I am no longer in the business of being a slave. I've thought about like, oh, maybe I can go get a job and this and that. And like, no, I can't do it. I'm in a process of absolute liberation. And that's not to say there are not ways in which I am a slave to my own self and a slave to my own wounds, but with regard to my time, I am manifesting and quite confidently believing in and walking into a reality wherein I am in charge of my time to a very large extent. Now, Saturn is a whole luminary, has a lot of hold over this reality. So I'm not quite fully ready, even though I am a Jupiterian being, to challenge Saturn to a war. So right now I'm in the process of harmonizing my inner Saturnian energies for the sake of refinement, for the sake of actualization, and for the sake of the unfurling of my wings. Jupiterian essence never negated by any of that. These Saturnian habituations that I create with my will are places and containers in which my Jupiterian energies can flow, as well as Venusian and lunar and solar and mercurial and all of that. And my feminine heart and my emotions. Going to San Diego is going to be an invitation for me to use my willpower and my mind and my soul and my discipline to really seriously create containers for my healing work to flow into its own self. And for my creative essence to flow. And for me to really figure out and distill the offerings which I wish to offer to the world, to you gentle people, gentle souls of the world. So I'm speaking this partially just because it's coming through, partially in the setting of intentions, partially to process these things for myself, and partially in preparation for this journey. Yeah. The last thing I'll say, which has been alive, yesterday's video, I talked about deep stomach wounds and how I'm really confronting the fact that this solar plexus area contains like some of the deepest wounds of my life, and that going to San Diego is actually like the place where these things were activated. In my astrological chart, my Chiron, which is the core wound, is in Libra in my 8th house, I believe. And Chiron in Libra, in my experience, is related to my uncertainty and my mind's oscillations between, is it this possibility? Is it that possibility? Is it this? Is it that? Oh, I can't choose. I can't choose. I go to a restaurant, I look at the menu, I'm like, someone choose for me. Like, I don't know what to choose. Indecision, uncertainty. And then from that, paralysis and passivity and idleness. And then other people making my choices for me, and thus my sovereignty being compromised. Now, with regard to my stomach and me reintroducing new elements to my diet, to my nutrition, and I spoke of how I've reintroduced meat and eggs, I am not feeling so good about meat. So I think I'm going to put that one on pause. Eggs, maybe okay, but it seems like it's going to be meat. Maybe meat very rarely if my body truly tells me like, all right, it's time for this. But eggs, fruit, vegetables sounds about right. But the point is, like, with my nutrition wound having been so deep throughout my life, and my stomach and my digestion and my relationship to consumption, now that I'm in a place where I'm really needing to choose new boundaries, new limitations, new rules and regulations over the temple of my body, what will be allowed and what will non-negotiably be not tolerated, intolerable. We will not put this into our body. So I'm healing the Chiron in Libra wound as well, the indecision wound, because I am required to make a choice here and to use my willpower and the infinite power of my mind and my prayer to make this choice, and my intuition and listening to my body. Whereas in the past, I might have been like, well, you know, it's all right if I have this pastry. Oh, I've had this pastry already, I might as well have 5. Well, I had 1 steak, I might as well eat a cheeseburger. I literally once, my rationale once, I was trying to cut out carbs, and then I went on, I went to get food with a friend, and there was carbs on the menu, and I was like, well, I'm here eating food with the friend, I will have these carbs, this rice with vegetables sounds good. So I had it, and then a donut was offered to me later that evening, and I was like, well, I've already had carbs, so I might as well have a donut. So sometimes, like, my slippery slope of my stomach's fucking weird rationalizations are completely ridiculous. And so it's really important for me with my mind and with my soul to create boundaries that are ironclad. So no burritos, no seed oils, no factory farmed products. And I feel really good actually about setting up those boundaries, which in itself, by the power of choice, by the power of willpower, by the power of action, then enacts the healing of my Chiron in Libra, and thus weaves into the healing of my solar plexus wound, which is tied to willpower. So there's tremendous healing already happening in the potentiality of me, like, all right, now I'm coming into these choices. Now the healing has to come into actualization by being put into practice when I get to San Diego. And when I get to the place where all of the temptations are going to be thrown my way and all of the patterns of avoidance are going to present themselves, like, hey, you're surrounded by concrete, you feel like you can't breathe, you're suffocated. It's a good time to to go and eat a burrito just because it'll help you with your comfort, or to go scroll on your phone for 10 hours because that's going to make you feel better. What? 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 Anyway, so I get to confront all of these things. I get to heal them, and we have free will. We have free will. God has gifted us with free will to gradually or instantaneously say no to all of the patterns and the habits and the programs that drag us down, that keep us tied to our wounds, that keep us slaves to our wounds. We are not slaves. We are free. And with free will, we have the ability to say no to our servitude, to say no to our enslavement, to say no to our imprisonment, whether within or without, and to say yes to creation, to creator, to being a creator and a creation harmonized within this microcosmic human body, vessel of the breath of God, to say yes to the creation of new habits that amplify your soul essence, that amplify the Father and the Son and the childlike innocence and the luminary innocence and luminosity which you are, which we are as human beings. We are this light. We shine this light. And so when I feel into San Diego, I feel this light that I am allowing myself to reclaim from my fears, from my wounds, from the places where I've allowed myself to be powerless. And now I claim my power by aligning myself with my willful prayer and with God. Yeah. The funny thing, hold on, I'm going to let that sit. The funny thing is I came to this video not knowing what I was going to talk about, feeling like I feel grief right now. I feel weak. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm like, do I even have anything to say? And then I just allow the words to come, and this comes through. So I'm really grateful because it will serve as guidance for me. It has already done so as I'm walking the next steps of my journey. And I pray that it can serve as guidance for some of you guys, and as medicine, and as healing, and as an inspiration to shine your light and to heal your wounds with that light. And even if you still feel the wounds, even if you still feel the patterns of those wounds, even if you feel an entire Saturnian construct of time matrix space manipulation and infiltrations into particular religions that are worshiping Saturn without knowing it, you can harness your own inner Saturnian energies to reclaim your time and energy and allow your Jupiterian and Sun and Venusian and earthly and human essence to shine, and reclaim your freedom from all the false constrictions and parasites which cling to us like ghosts, but which are vaporized in the face of the eternal love which we truly are, God-given, birthright. This is your birthright. This is your freedom. You have it by the simple fact that you are breathing and alive. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. Much love to you. Be patient with me with videos as I will be traveling, so I don't know if I'll be posting every day, though I will be trying to. Yeah, I may post an airport video, maybe even an airplane. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you. Goodbye. Love you.